You open up your Bible, right from page 1, God created something out of nothing. It picks up steam, miracles written all over the pages. A Red Sea opening up so you can walk through on dry land. Sun standing still. Lazarus being raised from the dead. Water turned to wine. You just dig through your Bible. We could just sit here all day talking about all the miracles that are there. Something only God can do. A miracle, very simply this. When God suspends the natural order of things to bring about something that only he can do. Something that he wants to do. Something for his own glory in his way. God is very much in charge of the world we live in. He made it. He can do what he wants. He is over all of creation. He is over all of sickness. He is over all of disease. He has control over the demon world. He has control over life and death, spiritual death and spiritual life. And so when God chooses to say, yes, I know that the rules of nature have it going this way, he can in a moment suspend those rules and bring about what he wants. We say this is a miracle. It is something only God can do. In the book of John, chapter 4, there is a great story. I want to tell you the story. I want to read the story to you. I want you to hear all about it. It's about a man who is official in the Roman government, probably under Herod Antipas. This man is very well taken care of. He's high up in the government. Everything works well for him. He has everything he needs. He is wealthy. He is provided for. When something goes wrong, he has connections. He knows people. All he has to do is speak the word, and those things are available to him. But he hits a speed bump in his life where all those connections, all those friendships, all that money cannot fix the biggest need that he has in his life because his boy is sick. And the doctors have told him that he's just not merely sick, he's sick and going to die. In fact, they've given him only days to live. And as he hears his boy crying out, even this grown man who is high up in government, he starts to cry. He's tried everything. He's reached out to all the people he normally reaches out to, and there are no solutions. And that's when he goes to the last resort. I mean, the word was out that Jesus was in the area, some 22 miles away from him, but nonetheless in the area. The word was out that Jesus was performing miracles, that he was healing people. It was sort of scorned, and yet behind the scenes sort of talked about what if it's true? And yet sort of put down if you would happen to go there to look. Because we know it's not true, and yet they kept on hearing stories that it was true. And in his mind, he says, I guess I don't really care what my boss thinks about this, and I don't care if I'm going to get fired, because when you have a kid that is sick, everything else gets put aside, right? And when you have a kid that's in a desperate spot, when you got a kid that is crying, you say, I don't care what my boss thinks. I don't care what my friends say. I don't care who laughs at me. I'm going to do what I have to do. And it's in that moment that he goes and he finds Jesus. And he asks him, would you heal my boy? Remember, this isn't a religious man. This isn't a churchgoer. This isn't a person with any religious background in the slightest. But now, he actually steps up and says, I need to talk to Jesus. Let me read to you. We're going to pop it up on the screen. John chapter 4, verse 46. So he came again to Cana in Galilee, where he had made the water wine. Talk about a miracle. And at Capernaum, there was an official whose son was ill. When this man heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went to him and asked him to come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. He's asking for a miracle. He's going to die unless you intervene. Last week we talked about something very different than a miracle. We talked about this one word, providence, where we said God takes many, many, many points of activity, of life, of connections, of people, of things, current, things past, things that are going to happen in the days ahead, people from on the other side of the world, things that are going on in incredibly different places throughout, and he brings all of those things together to accomplish his will. It's a complicated process. What we're talking about today is very different than that. That's a lot of little different points to bring about what God wants. We call it providence. It's complicated, but he does it. Today, God, through his very word, does a miracle where he changes, this is the definition of it, where he changes the natural sequence of things, the natural order of things to bring about his will with just a word. And that's what happens here. The boy's at a point of death. Let me keep on reading. Verse 48. So Jesus said to him, unless you see signs and wonders, you will not believe. The official said to him, sir, come down. That's the second time he says that. Before my child dies. The word for child there is little child. This was a young child. Come down before my child dies. And Jesus said to him, go. Your son will live. What do you do with that? You're not coming down? What if I get there and my child's not alive? What if I get there and my child dies? Just go. Your child will live. And he has at that moment the opportunity to respond to Jesus. Here's what I'm going to say over and over to you this morning. I'm just going to keep pointing you towards Jesus. The answer to everything in your life is Jesus. Will you reorient whatever's going on in your life right now that is shading the event, shading your joy, shading your forward motion? Would you take everything and point your eyes towards Jesus? That's why we have the cross at the center of this place today, because in the cross, everything changed. God offered to us his righteousness in exchange for our sin, where he carried that weight and that forgiveness to the cross, and he took the punishment that was due to us on the cross. Would you turn your eyes to the cross, to the one who gave his life for you, to the one who took your place in death, the one who brings you life? Change your focus. A lot of us in this room today are focused in on death. We're focused in on the darkness of the world. We're focused in on what's going wrong. And it's weighing you down. That smile's not on your face anymore. There are wrinkles, there are lines where there shouldn't be. There's burdens hanging on you. You're not doing well. I want to take you and I want to lift your head. I want to lift your eyes to Jesus. I want to point you to Jesus. This whole passage is all about pointing you to Jesus. And listen, someone in here this morning, someone in these seats, someone online, by the way, good morning those of you online. Someone online is feeling incredible pain, incredible weakness right now. You've been looking around, you've been trying to find something, and even today you may hear me say the word miracle and go, oh, maybe that's what I need. Let me tell you what you need today is Jesus. This man went to Jesus. This man would be pointed to Jesus. And in this moment, you know who he believes in? Jesus says you're going to go home, your son will live. Just go. Go right now, your son will live. And the next words are, and he believed. I'm going to encourage you today, don't believe in a miracle. Don't believe in Providence. Believe in Jesus. Don't put your eyes on Providence. Everything's going to work out. Don't put your eyes on a miracle. Something crazy is going to happen. Put your eyes on Jesus, and Jesus may choose to work in your life through Providence, through all those little details coming together to accomplish his will. Jesus may choose to work in your life by doing something where he suspends the natural order of things to accomplish his will. But no matter what, he wants you to place your eyes on him. All eyes on Jesus, church. All eyes on Jesus. Do you get that? Shake your heads a little bit. You're dark out there. I'm having trouble seeing you, but I do appreciate the noise. I'm hearing you a little bit. It says, the man believed the word that Jesus spoke and went on his way. In a few moments, you're going to get up from this place. You're going to walk out. You're going to go on your way. But the question is, will you believe that the word that Jesus spoke is true? Will you grab onto Jesus? Will you carry on in your life knowing Jesus? Verse 51, as he was going down, he leaves, he believes, he heads out. As he was going down, his servants met him on the road, some 22 miles to where he's going to. It's a long walk. He doesn't know what's going to come once he arrives at home. What if you get home and nothing has changed? What if you get home and your boy's not better? What, even worst case scenario, I hate to even think about it, what if you get home and your boy has died? What if they have a bad report? And there he looks in the distance, and there comes his guys. They're coming to tell him what the situation is. They're meeting him halfway. And as he sees them in the distance, his mind is spinning. Some of you have sat in the waiting room of a hospital during surgery. Those times can be ridiculously long. Your brain goes a million different places. And doctors will tell you, hey, you know what, it should be around 3 hours, maximum 4. And at about the 5-hour mark, your brain just goes to the worst case scenario, right? 6 hours, and you're just going, what's happening? You're going up to that person there that's manning the desk. You're like, can someone give me some more information? Can you tell me what's taking place? Because your mind is starting to go very, very dark to very dark places. You're just sure something terrible has happened, and you're trying to figure it out. And so this man's walking home, 22 miles of walking, and all of a sudden he sees his guys coming. As he arrives, he knows any moment now, I'm either going to hear my boy is healed. That's what Jesus said is going to happen. I'm going to be jumping up and down. We're going out to dinner tonight. We're having a party. Or I'm going to hear just what I didn't want to hear. My boy is dead. And I'm going to be doubled over, weeping in pain like I've never been before. And it's there as these men arrive. It says the servants met him and told him that his son was recovering. So he asked the hour when he began to get better, and they said to him, yesterday at the 7th hour, the fever left him. Now listen carefully what is said next. The father knew that this was the hour when Jesus said to him, your son will live. Because God does what he says in the moment completely and fully. A couple things I want you to just recognize here. I'll put them up on the screen as I talk about them. The first one, very simply, we all have problems, right? We all got some tough stuff going on in our lives. Hey, anyone in here not have something tough going on in their life? Or anyone just like, you're living the sweet life right now, everything's perfect? No one. I mean, the reality is, some of you, I was watching you come in this morning. You're smiling. You're happy. You look good. Your kids look good. They were well behaved. They were in tow. Everything seemed to be going well. And look at you and go, man, you are the picture of the life, right? And yet you're sitting here today, and just like this guy's at the top of society. He's got the money, he's got the connections, he's got the friends, he's got the job everyone longs to have, and yet it doesn't really matter because his boy is in bed, and the doctor says he's just days away from dying. We look around, and sometimes we assume we're the only one with pain. We assume that our situation is different than anyone else's. I would just say to you this morning, I want you to begin to recognize that everyone in this room is calling out to God for something only God can do. That's why we threw these bands in boxes on at each door in the building here, we want you to be a church that is reminded all day long that we're looking for something only God can do. Because what ends up happening when life begins to hit us really hard is probably like that guy, this official that we're talking about here. I mean, he wasn't a follower of Jesus. He wasn't a religious man, so his first thought was to go after every other possible solution. Someday, maybe in eternity, we'll find all the solutions that he tried for. The first thought that came to his mind was not, I need something that only God can do. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to encourage you to be a church that says, I want something that only God can do. Yes, you're hurting. Yes, you're going through something. Seek for something only God can do. One of the things I love about these bands is that they can be this reminder. When you look down at your hand, when you're sitting there thinking, I need to put my hands together and pray for something only God can do. Saw a woman this morning with one around her ankle. I didn't even give that a thought. I normally don't wear things around my ankle, but that's pretty cool. Something only God can do. Here's the other thing we're asking of you. Would you consider finding 2 other people, maybe people you don't even know yet, maybe someone you sit in front of or behind every week, where you just say to them, would you take a moment after church or before church for just the next 6 weeks, and could just the 3 of us, we call them triplets or triads, could just the 3 of us just pray together for just a few minutes before service or 3 minutes afterwards, just to take some time to bear one another's burdens. The reason that we gather together is because we need each other. We understand we're all hurting. We understand that we need to come together to encourage each other. We need to remind each other to put our eyes on Jesus. There's some of you carrying something in here this morning, and what wasn't crossing your mind all week long was to put your eyes on Jesus. And that's what we see this official. When finally, he looks to Jesus. That's when things begin to change in his life. That's when things begin to move. I'm going to encourage you. The thing that happens in the church when we start praying for each other and caring for each other, putting our arm around each other and giving each other a hug, having a cup of coffee at one of these tables out here, coming in on Monday or Tuesday for the kids' town, coming and playing pickleball during the week, whatever you're doing together, getting together in a small group. The idea is this: we want to encourage each other because we know we're weighted down, we know we're carrying stuff, and we need each other. We need to pray for each other. We need to remind each other, hey, you need to trust in God for something only he can do. Will you put your eyes on him? Put your eyes on Jesus. Pastor reminded us, put your eyes on Jesus. It's all about Jesus this week. Hey, listen, if this son had not been sick, this guy would have never met Jesus. I know we'd love to have an easy life, a problem-free life, but sometimes through the events of our lives, this is an awesome moment to step back and go, Jesus is refocusing me, trying to get my eyes onto Jesus. Again, our eyes are not to be on the miracle. Who did he go to? He went to Jesus. He didn't go to a miracle. If it's all about the miracle, if all we're talking about is a miracle, then we're looking for a physical manifestation of something that is not God himself. We want to put our eyes on God himself. We want to look at Jesus face to face. Now, this guy he's like, Jesus, here's what I want you to do, come down. Because in his mind, that's what Jesus would have to do. He would have to go to his house and touch his boy to make him well. I would just say to us today, quit trying to predict what God's going to do, how God's going to do it. Quit trying to tell God how to answer prayer. He is God. Now, I get it, this guy did that. And I get it, we do that. I do. I find it in my prayers oftentimes. I'm like, God, here's what I just wish you'd do. And I start listening down. And I just have a conversation with God. And that's what I want you to do even as you pray. Just have a conversation with God. And I'll laugh. I go, here I am trying to tell you, the God of the universe, how to fix this thing. Okay, I need to stop this. God, whatever you want. Here's what I want to say. I know you've got this. I know you are powerful. And here's what's happening in that moment is I'm trying to line my heart and my life and my ways up with God's ways so that I start having his mind in all of this. And there's things that he's doing in our lives where he's trying to get our attention back on him, where he's drawing our attention back to him. If it weren't for that thing going on in your life right now, you may totally miss Jesus. Another observation. Jesus healed with just a word. What did he say? He says, here's what I want you to go. Your son will live. Now, there's a lot of false teachers out there that they're trying to hedge their bets. They want to say that they can heal, and they want to tell you, you're healed, and then if you're not, then they want to give you a whole bunch of talk about, well, maybe it was you didn't have enough faith, or the sick one didn't have enough faith, and this kind of stuff. Listen, when Jesus heals, he heals. This official here, you and I know by reading this, what's it say? He heard that Jesus is in the area. He heard Jesus is healing people. It's clear he's at the end of his rope. It's clear he's tried everything. This isn't a guy that has faith. This isn't a guy that has a faith walk and a faith experience. Rather, he hears, he's like, what do I have to lose? And what ends up happening for each one of us when we step into this realm of faith, there comes a moment where we trust Jesus. That's what he does. Jesus, would you heal my boy? I need your help. He doesn't know what to expect. He doesn't know where this is going to go. In fact, as we were just told, we didn't know how it was even going to happen. He thought he'd go there, and instead, he just says, go. It's all taken care of. Many of us in this room, if you'll look back in your life, you'll remember some events where something little happened and you trusted Jesus with that issue. And if you look back right now, you can remember how he worked it out. And then something else happened. You see, this issue of faith in your life is a growing thing as you get to know Jesus more, as you walk with him. In fact, I'd encourage him, when you consider the issue that you're facing today, would you just put that on pause for just a moment, press pause, and review those things that he's done for you in the past. And give him glory for that. And say, you did that. You provided in this situation. When I didn't have a job, when finances weren't there, when that relational issue was happening, when my kid was sick, and here I am today, God, and I'm here with this. And you see what you have? You have a progression. Your faith has been growing. But Jesus' healing is not determined by your faith. It's determined by his choice and his power. He can work through any number of ways in your life. He can choose to work through providence, putting together all sorts of little different areas. And I'll throw this out to you this morning. There are some of you in this room that are doctors, some of you that are nurses, some of you are techs in a hospital running huge multi-gazillion-dollar machines to be able to image us and to see all of the things inside of us. Some of you are in research. Some of you are in pharma. Some of you are making our medicines. By the way, here at Calvary, we believe that God, through providence, works through all these little different factors, oftentimes to bring about his will, and he can do it that way. I thank God for those of you who are part of bringing healing to us as a people. We do not ever push that aside and say, well, it's only a miracle. We don't say, hey, it's only prayer. Sometimes in the course of our prayer, God will lead us to the right doctor. Ever get into the emergency room and they go, you're a lucky person today. Such and such doctor who is like the expert in the world on your issue that you just came in here for happens to be in the emergency room today. And you go, oh, wow, that's pretty cool that just happened to be the case. No, that's providence. That's God putting all of these things together so that at this moment you get the very best care so to bring about your healing. And God is powerful, and he can have all of those things bringing to bear and waiting for you right at the right moment. We thank the Lord for doctors and nurses. My doctor prays with me. I have this way when I go into a doctor's office, like I don't know, I think I don't like going into the doctor's office, and my blood pressure skyrockets. So when they put that cuff on me, my blood pressure goes up through the roof, and my doctor takes it off, and you feel it go, pfft. I'm like, thank you. I hate that, the way it feels when it's around your arm and it's pumping. I'm going to make some of you pass out just talking about it right now. But I just hate that feeling, and so he'll take it off. And then you'll say, Yeah, that's very high, but it's okay. You just are in a doctor's office and you don't like that, and you don't like that thing around your arm. And he stops and he prays with me. And then he puts it back on and he goes, oh, it's normal. I am thankful for Christian doctors. I'm thankful for Christian nurses. I'm thankful for those of you who bring care to us in that kind of way. You are ministers of healing to many of us, and I thank the Lord for you. Now you put that together with prayer, and God can use all of those pieces to bring providence. But there's oftentimes that moment where even the doctor rolls back in their chair, looking at tests and saying, it was here the last time we checked, and it's gone. And you can look back at the doctor and say, that is something only God can do. Because God suspended the laws of nature and performed a miracle. And we believe that those happen even today. Happen all through your Bible. Why would that stop now? But do remember, when Jesus healed, it was immediate and it was complete. When that little boy, when in the 7th hour, it says here, the dad's like, look at his watch. Wait a minute, that was the 7th hour that Jesus said that. You can just picture the boy's laying in bed, and they're looking, they're counting his every breath. They have their finger on his pulse. They're checking him, and all of a sudden, the boy sits up in bed and says, I gotta go. And he runs outside. He starts playing with his toys, and everyone's standing there scratching his head. When Jesus says you're healed, and you're healed in that moment. We don't believe in this progressive healing thing, like, well, Jesus healed you, but you haven't noticed anything yet. Oh, come on. Jesus heals immediately, and he heals completely. At the end of this text, I love in verse 54, it says, and this was the second sign that Jesus did when he had come to Judea of Galilee. The second sign. Remember what the first one was? We started out with it there, right there at the beginning of verse 48, when he made water into wine. That was the first sign. This one was the second sign, where he heals the official's son. And what's the sign for? To point us towards something. You came by a lot of signs on your way to church today. Most of you didn't even look. The signs are just there. They've always been there. I went to a church one time. They didn't have any signs. It was a church way smaller than this. I wandered around their building forever trying to find the auditorium. Everyone else seemed to know where to go, but I didn't know because there weren't any signs. When Jesus said up here in this verse, unless you see signs and wonders, this is up in verse 48, you will not believe. And at first blush, you sort of think, that sounds like a put down. It's like, yeah, you want to see a sign. And unless you see a sign, you won't believe. Well, buddy, I'm going to show you a sign. I don't think that's what's going on here. He just recognizes this guy hasn't seen a sign. I wandered around that building. I couldn't find their auditorium. There wasn't a sign in the place. Jesus says, I'm going to show you a sign. And that sign, yes, it's going to be a miracle. Your boy is going to get up out of the bed. But here's the sign. It's going to point you towards something. What's it point you towards, church? You've got it. Because these signs are constantly pointing our attention, pointing our focus towards Jesus. And when he pointed this man's attention towards Jesus, remember, it was everywhere else. It was his work. It was his power. It was his political affiliation. It was Herod Antipas. It was the Roman government. It was money. It was power. It was connections. That's what his whole life was pointed to until everything came crashing down. And on that day, Jesus says, unless you see a sign, I need to show you a sign. And in that sign, I know your boy's not going to live. But if your boy could get up out of that bed, you would see me, Jesus. And this sign points him towards Jesus. You see, if we just come in here and we just talk about a miracle, we just want another miracle. We're going to give you a miracle. God's going to give you a miracle. You just got to believe in a miracle. You just got to declare a miracle. You need to call out a miracle. And it's just all this kind of talk. And you've all heard that kind of talk. Then when Monday comes or Tuesday comes and you're still without a job and your kid is still sick, you're going to go, where's that miracle? And Jesus says, I want to point you towards myself. And yes, I will oftentimes use providence. Sometimes I'm going to use a miracle. I'm going to change the rules of nature to bring it about. But here's what it's going to be all about. Whether it's providence or a miracle, it's going to be about pointing to something only God can do and drawing our eyes to Jesus. Listen to what it says here in this verse happened. It says this, and he himself believed in Jesus and his household. Men, this is why we need to put our attention on Jesus. This is why we need to believe. You want your kids to follow Jesus? You want your kids to make good decisions? You want your wife to follow Jesus? When you lead out in this way, when you get vulnerable and come before Jesus and put your eyes on him and trust in Jesus, your wife and your kids will follow. And that's what happened in this situation. They saw Jesus change their daddy's life. And as a result, Jesus changed their life.